We've been getting a lot of questions recently about oil change franchises. There's some mainstay oil change franchises. There's some up and coming brands. Today's episode, I'm going to go through everything you need to know before you start reaching out to oil change franchises. And we'll even go through three concepts in today's video: Jiffy Lube, Valvoline, as well as Take 5. Three franchise opportunities that are currently franchising in the United States. So choosing the right oil change franchise or chain can seem like a daunting task. There's a lot of businesses out there. They all have their own pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages. And first, it's important to understand that there are also different focuses and formats. So some focus on providing their services at gas stations, retail shops, while others offer service exclusively through mobile trucks. The most popular oil change franchises in the United States are Jiffy Lube, Midas, as well as Meineke. Depending on your specific preferences and location, one option may be better than another for you. You've got to see what's available to open one up from the ground up, or potentially acquire an existing franchise that's currently open and operating in your area. As well as some oil change franchises are going to give better training than others. Some just focus on basic car maintenance, others on advanced diagnostic techniques. It's going to be harder to get that labor if it's advanced diagnostic techniques. And the cost of opening an oil change franchise really varies a lot, brand by brand, location by location, just the business itself. So not if you're also going to own the land and the building. Anywhere from $100K to $1 million is pretty standard from what we see. So let's jump right into one of the marquee brands in the United States for this segment, as well as franchises overall, Jiffy Lube. Right now, there's over 1,900 Jiffy Lubes across the United States, owned and operated by franchisees. And then there's another 33 that are corporately owned and managed. Before starting a Jiffy Lube franchise, it's important to know what the initial costs are, the fees, as including working capital, etc. For the franchise fee itself, it's $17,500, which is a bit below the industry norm. The minimum investment amount to open up a Jiffy Lube is about $200K and could cost you up to $420,000. The failure rate is pretty low for this brand at just 3% over the past 3 years, which is pretty darn good. The next one is Valvoline, another popular concept in the United States whose parent company is publicly traded on the stock exchange. They have 750 instant oil change locations owned and operated by franchisees, as well as another 515 that are corporately owned and operated. Before starting a Valvoline change franchise, know the franchise fee is a little higher than Jiffy Lube, starting at $30,000 for that initial franchise fee. And it's going to vary a lot depending on the format of the store, anywhere from $178,000 all the way up to $1.2 million to open up a Valvoline franchise in the United States. The franchise for sale ratio over the past 3 years is pretty low at 7%. That means people aren't really getting out of the system at a high rate, and failure rate is very low, low single digits. The average unit volume's pretty solid at $1.1 million for a Valvoline franchise. So if you're operating with a profit margin of 20-25%, you could be making $200,000 to $250,000 owning a Valvoline franchise in the US. The next one's Take 5, which is a concept that's emerging, not as many locations. There's about 70 Take 5 locations owned and operated by franchisees. Most automotive franchises have a lot more franchise locations, as is the case with Take 5 as well as Jiffy Lube. But what we saw with Valvoline, they have a pretty large number at 500 plus that are corporately owned and managed. Before starting a Take 5 franchise, note that the franchise fee is higher than Jiffy Lube as well as Valvoline at $35,000. So really be sure to understand what differentiates Take 5. So are they going to provide a lot more training? What can you get from that $35,000 that you're not getting for Jiffy Lube or Valvoline? The minimum to open about $200,000, and that will go up all the way to $900,000 to open up a Take 5 franchise. The failure rate's extremely low. We've calculated 0% over the past 3 years. And the AUV is pretty similar at Valvoline, just a little lower at $1 million. And they even disclose the scale-up period. So after your first 12 months of operations, you should be hitting around $750,000 in revenue. And then year 2, $880,000, and then year 3, you're right around that $1 million mark. So it scales up pretty fast, going from $0 to $750,000, and super high EBITDA margin that is disclosed at 28%, which is higher than the industry average. So if you open up a Take 5 and it only costs you $300,000 to get in the door, at year 3, you could potentially be making $280,000 or more from your Take 5 franchise. So I do like this industry, oil changes. It's not going away anytime soon. Let's see with the adoption of electric cars, if that's going to be 10 years off, 15 years off, or sooner. But in the next 5 years, I do see tremendous opportunity for oil change franchises, and maybe there's a way they can reposition as people get into the electric car space and adoption grows for electric car ownership in the United States. I hope you liked our video. Let me know if there's any other oil change franchises that we missed off that we should do a review on for our subsequent episodes. And feel free, again, always email me at patrick@vettedbiz.com with any commentary or questions, or just to let us know what the next franchise is that we should analyze or what industry we should consider next beyond oil change franchises. Thank you.